Hello, friends. Welcome to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host, Julie Jancius. If you love this podcast, please be our angel. Ask a friend to listen, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, leave a positive review, and share a screenshot of this podcast on your Facebook or Instagram stories. So, my dad passed away in 2015. We weren't talking, and it took a month for his family to track me down. Before I ever knew he was gone, I started hearing from him in heaven. It consumed me. How is communication with the other side even possible? I left my corporate gig, studied with spiritual teachers on every coast, and worked with my angels to figure out the answers. Today, my mission is teaching you how to raise your vibration, shift your thoughts, trust your intuition, develop your unique spiritual gifts, and connect with your loved ones and angels on the other side. Friends, when you have these tools, life really does become heaven on earth. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host and author, Julie Jancius. Friends, if you didn't get to listen to the episode on Thursday, September 25th, that was last Thursday, you have to go listen to it. If you have been listening to the podcast this year, you know that my nervous system has just been racked by everything that I've been through, my kiddo's been through this year. And so we're doing something for an entire year where we're just keeping it positive. It's not positive, toxic positivity. It's just, I really feel the angels calling us all back to love, to service, to our soul self. And so I am so excited. Every probably quarter, I sit down with a woman who helps me bring on people onto the show. And I saw Josh's book come up. It's called Lose Your Mind. And I go, oh my God, I have to get this guy on the podcast, have to talk to him because this book looks incredible. And I have to tell you this story, Josh. I had to make one of the biggest decisions of my life in 1988 or 89, about then. Living in St. Louis, Missouri at the time, and my dad came home from work and he gave me this option. He said, tonight you can either go trick-or-treating or you can go see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in concert. And I swear it was one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make. And it crushed my heart so much because I chose to go trick-or-treating. But it was such a tough decision. So for those of you who don't know, Josh Pais is, he was the Raphael from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The only turtle, did you say, to be inside the costume and the voice at the same time?
Yeah, in the original movie, yes.
Wow. So you've created this new book.
Yes.
Lose Your Mind, which comes out tomorrow, actually.
September 30th, yep.
And it's all about creativity. And as I was reading through, it's really all about connecting, I think, to service. Because I think that when we are creative ourselves, we're of service to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just accessing just the richest part of ourselves. Do you want to, like, what's going on? You said, I'm just catching up with you, but you said you've been through so much. Like, what's going on? Maybe we can play around with that.
Oh,
it doesn't mean necessarily the story of everything, but like what's going on in your body right now, and maybe we can jump off from there.
Yeah. So I had a hysterectomy this last year. I had really severe endometriosis that was causing me a lot of pain. When you have a hysterectomy, kind of your hormones can get all off whack. Yeah, and it can take a little bit of time for that to just kind of get back to normal. Right. And then my daughter's been going through this trifecta of different things happening. Just took her to the cardiologist today, just got back and found out there's another thing on top of everything. So it's it's just been a year, right?
Right.
And I want to keep everything like loving and positive, and I just feel like called to share this. We all get blocked with our creativity sometimes.
Everybody gets blocked, and Lose Your Mind, the path to creative invincibility, is a way to get unblocked and get unblocked every time our mind gets in the way. And we have to know that our mind is going to do everything it can to keep us blocked and keep us in the past, keep us in the future, keep us small, keep us safe. And I almost have this image of our nervous system as one of our ancient grandmothers
Yeah, you talk about that in the book.
who can't see too well, and she's like concerned about you and is like, no, don't go outside, just stay in the cave,
Yeah.
And we have to recognize, like, as we extend further out into the world, which can be like opening the first page of something you want to write, or going on stage, or publicly speaking, we have to know that anytime we extend outward, there's going to be more vibration in our body. And a couple things to play with is, one is letting literally talking to your nervous system and say, we're okay. We're stepping into the unknown, but we're not going to die. Like the grandma just assumes if you go on stage, you're going to die. Do you know what I mean? And so that's one thing. And just to trust that all that energy that's there as we extend outward is creative fuel. It's your system giving you juice to play with. And so often when the juice, the sensations, the emotions build up, we want to like manage it and suppress it so that we are, got it together. But as soon as we manage, suppress, alter, shift, jam down, we're signaling to our nervous system, we're signaling to our body, I don't want to feel you. And as soon as we do that, we're because we're alive, our attention has to go somewhere. So maybe you have been able to disconnect from your body, and then you're going to be in your head telling you you're doing it wrong, it's not going to go well, everybody else is further ahead, you're too this, you're not enough that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so my game, what I've been experimenting really my whole life is, when that charge is there, ride it, don't hide it. Like, get on that train. There's no bad energetic, emotional sensation in your body if we party with it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So recently I had felt this calling from the angels to have more local, because I've built the podcast up. It's doing wonderfully. It's all around the United States and the world. But you have to have that local connection, right? Just connecting heart to heart with other women. So I had this big group of ladies over to my house, and they were like, Julie, you know what I miss is before COVID, you had the massage table set up in your house. You would work on people just right in your home while Blake's at work, your daughter's at school. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. So I went out the next day with my husband over to Menards. We ordered some doors, and we're like, we're just going to turn the dining room into my office where people come over, and I do readings over there, set up the massage table again. And so I was talking to my friend on the phone today, and she's like, that's what I love about you, Julie. I love that when spirit brings in an idea, you just go execute it. You don't even think about it. You just go do it. And I think that that's what you're talking about here, is like riding it, instead of, I could have hemmed and hawed on that for a couple of months, but you just hop on it. And as soon as I did, this entire creativity space opened up. Okay, well, how am I going to decorate this? What's the ambiance going to be so that when people come in, what are they going to smell? What are they going to feel? And I think creativity for me breeds more creativity, more like soul joy. Does it for you too?
Absolutely. And what you're talking about going ahead and doing it anyway. I think some people are like, there's the thinnest membrane, and on one side you're like, oh, what's going to happen, and but when you step through it, it's like, oh, this is awesome. It's just more aliveness, more playfulness, more connectivity. But it's like we just need, like you just described, just to step through, keep stepping through.
I'm so grateful to those who keep this show going through your support. Get 3 certifications in one and start your own business when you take the Angel Reiki School online or in person. You get both for the price of one when you register. The Angel Reiki School is in person this November and January. My angel membership gives you the ability to work with your personal angels and your heavenly loved ones every day to hear your own angel messages. Sign up for the annual option today and receive a free 1 hour reading with me to feel closer than ever to your angels. I'm doing readings again out of my house and on Zoom. It's $144 for a half an hour reading or $288 for an hour. Or book me to do your readings at your next party worldwide. The Angel Reiki School membership, readings, and parties are all booked online at theangelmedium.com. That's theangelmedium.com. Thank you again for supporting my work and the work of the angels. Now, let's get back to the show. So my daughter's been involved in acting. She's only 14, but she's been taking classes for the last 3 years.
Right.
And I think it's just so fascinating how you have to jump in and play this other person and really try on different voices and try on how different things work. And you kind of just have to go for it. What have you learned being around so many other creatives within your career about creativity yourself, creativity itself, and just some of the bigger aha moments and takeaways there?
Well, you mentioned creating a character, and this might go a little bit in the weeds, but in my classes, I developed something called inner atomics. And inner atomics, there's about 26 inner atomics. And these tools encompass all of human behavior. You can create any character, you can access any part of yourself with these inner atomics. So in a sense, when I first started out, I would create a character so that I felt safe and I could hide behind, like, look at this, look, there's the character's here. And that got me no work, but it felt really safe. And by playing with these inner atomics, I can give you examples of them, but you plug them into your being, and then it opens up spontaneous organic behavior. We want to find ways to get us to a place of spontaneity, and that applies to anybody that's creating anything. And spontaneity is it's the purest, most beautiful expression of someone when they are spontaneous. Because if you're spontaneous, you're not editing, you're not in your mind, you're in your body. That's what I refer to lose your mind. It's like you want to step out of here, and then you have access to something that's so far beyond the chatter. It's like, and I think you were touching on that before as well. It's just, there's a richness, a depth that is so alive and so there to guide you. And one thing that I do in my classes, which I suspect is in alignment with you, is I have people connect to where they are in that moment. And then I send them into, whether it's for people that are public speaking or lawyers practicing a closing argument or actors doing a scene, connect to exactly where you are and then speak from there. And something comes out that is so far beyond what anybody thought to do.
Define for us this term that you've coined, creative invincibility. What does that mean to you?
To me, it means that no matter what you're feeling, what emotion, whatever it is, and no matter what thoughts, debilitating, crappy, I suck thoughts may be circulating, you'll be able to do your best work. And the book teaches how to get there. And it's just, there's lots of exercises. There are QR codes in the books to like audios and different meditations, but it's trust. It's a deep trust that what's going on is the perfect delivery system. It's the perfect place to create from. And that's in the second chapter, I talk about the greatest myth of our time. And from my point of view, the greatest myth of our time is that there's this belief out there that's so immersed that we don't even question. And that belief is that there are good emotions and bad emotions. And it's deeply ingrained. Just to go in the weeds again for a second.
Yeah, no,
my
I love it.
dad was a theoretical physicist.
Yes, talk to people about this because this
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah.
Didn't he work with Albert Einstein?
Yeah, Albert
Wow.
Einstein, Oppenheimer, Niels Bohr, like all the heavy dudes
Wow.
of that time. And when I had asked him as a kid, what's your job? He basically, there was a table next to me and he said, do you see this table? And I was like, yes. Do you see your knee? I was like, yes, but what's your job? And he said, the smallest part of that table and the smallest part of your knee are the same things, atoms. And that's what I explore, the building blocks of the universe. And I just remember, you know, him telling me that, and it's like atom, because I'd heard him talking about atoms, but it's like everything is these little tiny things. And cut to me auditioning, attempting to start my acting career, and it was horrendous. I was just racked with nervousness and fear and anxiety and thoughts and what am I doing? And when I reflected on this, this discussion I had with my dad, I started to play with that the emotions are just this is atoms. And so emotions are fluctuate, their atoms are moving in a frequency that we can feel. But if we just stay with the purity of the vibration, whether it's frustration, you feel like a pounding behind your rib cage, or anxiety, maybe like a chaotic energy in your belly. But if you actually stay with that energetic pattern, judgment drops.
How does it drop though? Because for a lot of people, they're going to get into a ruminating thought pattern,
Well,
and then
yeah.
the thought
Well, let's go
pattern
with you.
keeps them in.
Yeah. So, we can go over the 4 access points to presence, but let me put it on you for a second. So, what is the loudest sensation in your body right now? Feel like, what is the actual, not any story attached to it, but just take a moment, like what's the most intense vibration? And it might not be intense. It might just be like, oh, I feel this, or it might be this, or
Can I give you some backstory to it?
don't need it.
Don't need it.
No,
Okay.
because we want to create from this moment.
Ooh. Okay. Perfect. Overwhelm.
Okay, great. Now, is it more upper body or lower body?
Always upper body.
Okay. Like heart
Chest.
center, chest.
Like
Okay.
like when people say you've got an elephant on your chest, that's
Okay.
always where I carry anxiety.
Okay, great. Now, so is it overwhelm or anxiety in this moment, would you say? Both are
Overwhelm.
overwhelm. Okay. So what is the energetic pattern that's occurring? Like, how are the atoms moving that you're calling overwhelm? Like, what's the actual movement in there? Like, what are the atoms doing?
It's like more and more just keeps pouring in, but there's not enough space for all of them.
Okay, so what, moving inward or filling up? Like a filling.
Moving in and filling up.
Okay. All right. So just take a moment and just feel the purity of an energy moving inward and then also filling up. Like, just feel just be interested in that energetic pattern, filling in and filling up.
Got it.
If you just feel the purity of that, like my question is, like, is it that bad? If you just
No.
feel, right? But, and that's the key thing. But if you are having that and you go, what was the word you used? Overwhelm. And if
Yeah.
oh, I'm overwhelmed, then you're gonna, and we've all, we know overwhelm is bad. Then you're gonna manage it, try to process. I have to get over it. And then you're gonna be in your head going, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed about that. I'm overwhelmed. Everything is overwhelming. However, the truth is that you felt like energy moving in and energy moving out. And so the more we stay with these patterns, it's not good or bad. And that frees us up. That gives us access to our creativity. But if we're so culturally trained to keep monitoring ourselves away from what the myth has told us is bad.
Ooh,
But
I love that.
that's what screws everybody up.
Yeah.
Like living in a human body is living in something that's constantly vibrating, like at its essence. That's just the bottom line truth. It's things are constantly moving.
Yeah.
And the more we can just party with it, like, oh, it's going to go over here now. Sometimes it's going to be intense. And sometimes it might be almost like, that moment, in a roller coaster where it's up at the top, but you can handle it. And the more you can welcome all of this, then you become creatively invincible.
Well, what's striking me too is that, and I had laughed earlier in our conversation, I thought to tell you, because we've both been around such creative and successful people in our lifetimes. And when you're around people who are very, very highly successful, you notice them doing exactly what you're saying within themselves, that they have to nail the moment. So whether it's they're going up on stage and they're talking in front of 10,000 people, or, they're acting and they know millions of people are going to see it, or whatever it is that they're doing, they have to be able to kind of come in and nail that moment. And there is this way that they come to, I call that energy oneness, of just you're one with all that is. It feels so yummy, delicious. You center into your soul's energy. And it's like from that place, you can get this ultimate power. And by power, I mean, there's a creative voice that is always speaking to us. And in that moment, it's going to show you the way. Yeah. I don't know if you want to riff off of that.
Yeah, I want to riff on nailing it, because I'll say for me, like I would do mostly like it would happen in theater. And I started out doing theater and Broadway and off Broadway. And there were times where I would be like, I nailed that. I nailed it. But let's say in film, like I would be like, I just nailed that. I hit it. Boom. And sometimes the director would be like, let's do it again. Let's see what happens this time. And I had to rediscover that nailing it is exactly what you've been saying. Nailing it isn't something separate from you. It's something that doesn't exist yet. And it's like stepping into the unknown and like offering your full being even while all this stuff is happening. I'm not going to go away and I'm going to create with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to an old school, particularly with acting, approach was always like, I'm going to set my rhythm and I'm going to do it with bravura and knock it out of the park. And for, I don't know, maybe 20, 25, 30 years ago, that was, oh, that's good acting. But, like I did Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, and I find him just a really compelling actor. And every take that we did, he was different because he honored where he was, and I was different. And then it just brought us into this unknown place where the dance could happen in that moment. And again, takes bravery to step into that, but it's again crossing through this thinnest of membranes.
Yeah. Is that something that also comes from a muscle, because we're all, as we journey through life, kind of building up our expertise, building up those muscles in the areas that we're serving and creating and just being with the world. And my daughter's so cute. So she's just, theater kids are just a group that are unlike any other. They're just so good to one another. They're such
They
a tight
are.
community.
Yes. Yeah.
So they all came over to our house. We, got pizzas and just everything. And I couldn't be there. And I was just crushed because I had to work a retreat that I was hosting. But I was like, take video, take picture. I want to know everything. So they sat around, they did charades and, they'll sit around and they'll just try on different voices. They do this thing where they try and sound like a 70-year-old smoker, with this raspy voice. And I can't even do that impression, but it just kind of made me think when you were talking, are we each in our lives kind of journeying in the way that we want to become experts? And as we're doing even these minute little things with our friends, having conversations with the friends that we walk with, we're kind of building up this muscle within us so that when you're in the moment, you have the expertise and the muscle behind you to just bring through what needs to come through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I had an acting teacher, his name was Clyde Vinson, and he would talk about like, as you're washing don't make it a big transition from like washing your dishes to going on stage. Don't make that a heightened state. Like just bring you as you are into that. And I mean, I have an exercise, which is the 4 access points. I'd be happy.
I love to hear them. Yes.
And these build the muscle of staying present with exactly as you are. Mm-hmm. And I know there's people listening that might think, but that's not enough, but it's the biggest, it's enormous when you offer you. And that's what people are, they're so hungry in this era for you to see you as you are in this moment. It's life affirming, even if you feel vulnerable, even if you feel nervous, if you let yourself feel that as you're doing whatever form of creation you're doing, people will bow down to you because it's real.
Elizabeth Gilbert, she wrote Eat, Pray, Love. She's got a new book out. I just went to go see her. She came to talk. Yeah, she came to talk in Naperville, and she talked about being a writer and really not wanting to harm the people in your life because we go through things, right? And part of being a podcaster and sharing your life or sharing what Spirit's bringing through at the time often comes from a point of, okay, I went through this in my life. It caused me this pain. This is how I worked through it, how I got to the other side of it. And what she talked about is not talking about something until it doesn't trigger you anymore. And I wonder how you feel about that.
So just so I'm tracking, don't talk about something until it doesn't trigger you anymore.
Yes, until you're on the other side of it, which I find sometimes really hard to do because the messages sometimes the messages from Spirit don't come all at once. It's evolving through the lesson to be on the other side of it. Mm-hmm. How do you take this? Do you wait until you're healed from it to talk about it? Or do you allow people in to the vulnerable side of, I'm showing up for you, but this is where I'm at today?
I mean, the latter.
Yeah.
Because the notion of, I don't know quite exactly everything she was referencing, so I'm not talking about.
Well, and it might be authors. Yeah, because it's different for authors who are putting out big books than maybe podcasters who are talking weekly.
Right. But the notion of being triggered is tied up in with the great myth, because basically don't trigger me is like, I don't want to feel something bad. Don't make me feel something bad. But if we can welcome all of these sensations, like anxiety, like, that's something that, we're so like, oh, I don't want to feel anxiety. But just as you tapped into overwhelm, like the actual thing is just this vibrational frequency. And power comes from like, yeah, I'm feeling all that, but I'm not going to go up here. And if I don't suppress it and ride it, it's going to shift in 7 to 12 seconds. Any sensation that we fully honor will shift in 7 to 12 seconds to the next sensation, the next sensation, the next sensation. And that's really, I think, how our body wants to be honored to create optimal health, so that you're not managing. The management is from your mind's point of view. From your body's point of view, you're fully in control. It's only your mind goes like, I'm out of control. I'm triggered. But we have to do this practice. I firmly believe it's so needed in the world now, because if everybody's like, don't make me feel something, that starts wars. That starts separation from people. It's closing our heart, constantly going in protected, suppressed, living in our head. And we've been living in our head too long, and the results are in front of us. And we've got to understand that living in a human body we're going to vibrate. And if we take it out of good and bad, then you can fully engage.
What's the role of love in there?
I just think it's going to expand your ability to feel love. And also, I think there's something with love that even that's worthy of experimenting with, because like, how much love will you let yourself feel before it's too much? I have to protect myself. And I think the more we can be open, if you're really open, somebody might say something and it's going to land, but you can deal with that. And on the flip side, we have a tool within our being that we can shut down. And that should be used as a tool. Like if you're dealing with something, it's like, I'm gonna be in this space here. But what we don't want is for that to become a lifestyle. You want it to be a tool. It's like, but not every day. I'm going to only allow this much, I'm going to allow this much aliveness, and the rest I'm going to make sure, I don't feel something.
When you just said that, that is so incredibly powerful. I don't even know if you realize how powerful that is. How much love do you let yourself feel before you try to protect yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's the same with any of these sensations, and this, that's what the book, teaches, is that you can withstand it all. You can be so alive. And and that might mean you're going to be sad. But if you're get into the purity of sadness and don't hold it as bad, like there's a beauty, there's a richness, there's a poetry in sadness. And I know for me, that was something that I would always be like, something's wrong. I'm sad. I've got to, but if I go, wait a minute, what do I teach? And it's like, just feel it. And then time slows down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like very, very rich and beautiful.
Yeah.
And, we have to know we're living in a human body, and we have to welcome it if we want to have access to our creativity, and the planet needs everyone's creativity right now. We
I
really,
think that's it. Yeah.
I mean, all the problems in the world they're ready to be solved. But
Yeah.
if we're constantly suppressing and altering and getting caught in this ridiculous game, then we're limiting access to our creativity.
Yeah, I see that all the time with the angels. They always say that if each soul was on earth doing what their soul was called here to do, this
Mm.
place would be a completely different experience. And that's exactly what you just said. You know, your soul has so much creativity. Sometimes I get stuck in, okay, well, then here's this new idea Spirit just brought in. So this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I used to think it was bad or wrong that even when you're highly successful, you have all this success, right? There's still going to be this chapter where one chapter ends, another chapter begins of creativity where you have to go birth in something new. And I think that I've really been resisting that over the last couple of years of feeling like there's this new layer, this new creative piece that they want me to bring in, and not knowing exactly how to do that. And it's
Yeah.
taken me a while to step into it, but I see it now and it's so beautiful. And it doesn't mean that I have to get rid of the podcast. I'm not keep the podcast, but just take it to a whole new level, which I'm excited to do.
There's a chapter in the book called A Malleable Identity.
Ooh, what's that?
And well, we just naturally create an identity, based on our childhood, based on, who we think is cool,
Mm-hmm.
who we're not going to be like. I'm not going to be like, my dad, or I'm not going to be like whoever. And so we start to mold this structure, and we go like, yeah, this is, and then it's almost like a bat sending sonar out, inside the perimeter of our identity. And we're like, oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, this is me. Okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. This is me. I think what you're talking about is letting your identity become malleable, which takes bravery, but it's like then you expand into a whole other arena in which to live and play and create. And just know it's bumpy because there's mostly our mind wants this secure, our grandmother, wants this secure, you know, space in which to operate. But magic happens when we let our identity be malleable so that we can, maybe how you would phrase it, like let the angels guide us. Because if we get messages from intuition, from wherever it may be, and we're locked in here, we're going to be like, no, that's not what I do, and we're going to miss these transitions. And when these transitions come upon us, it can be really disturbing to our mind because I know I'm this, and it's like, but I'm getting this nudge over here. And so that's again why we need to lose our mind, because it's not going to help us grow. It's not going to help us expand.
I think if you looked at any successful person in life, in any arena of life, what made them successful, end of sentence, point blank, is them following their intuition, their creativity, because nobody else could have done that.
Yeah.
And to your point before, that is what people are craving. You're so right about that.
You mentioned fear. I mean, what is fear? What is it? Really?
Yeah.
But like if for you, like if you feel fear, what are you actually feeling? Can you
Oh, the atoms.
like what is the atom? What is
Oh,
the actual, for
it's an
me?
absence energy. I don't
Okay.
feel the atoms.
You don't feel the atoms, and that's fear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel any fear right now? Like something you might call fear?
I could take myself to that state if you wanted me to.
Well, if you literally go back and to feel, maybe it's an emptiness, or like there's nothing to hold on to. I don't, there's just nothing there. If you practice, like when that happens, I can kind of feel that now,
Yeah.
and just breathe and connect to that. Like then you're not gonna I was saying this to everybody, you're not going to get screwed up when you feel it. You're not going to manage it and like turn it into anything else. It's just like, oh, there's this emptiness. And my image when I was, imagining or remembering when I felt fear, it's more like spikes going out, like almost like that.
I want to know, because we've talked about this, but we didn't get to it.
Okay.
What are the 4 access points?
All right, here we go. So there's no order to them, but why don't we, since we've been playing with the body, why don't we start there? And these are tools to shift the volume so we're not dominated by this. Tune into, like, you can begin by what is the loudest sensation in your body. Do you feel your feet on the floor? Do you feel parts of your body feel expanded? Parts of your body feel contracted? What's moving? What emotion is there? Just purely connecting to the body as we've been experimenting with. So that's one. Another one is to breathe to feel. Like you want to breathe to feel. So often we'll use like a breathing technique to get rid of our body. I don't want to feel nervous, so I'm gonna, or I'm gonna try to get rid of it. It makes sense if you hold nervous is bad, but then you're going to end up in your head because you're just trying to suppress your body. Mm-hmm. So you want to breathe to feel. And this might feel counterintuitive, but breathe so that you can feel more. The more we're in here, the quieter this is, and this being our head. So breathe to feel. The next is to take in your immediate environment. And a specific way of doing that is, so if you're listening, put your eyes on something in front of you and see it in terms of color, the color of it, the shape of it, the texture. I'm looking at my microphone, the texture, the lightness, the darkness, the shadow. So in a sense, see it as if for the first time, see it how a baby, or what's your dog's name?
Lulu.
And almost like how Lulu would see it, because presumably, maybe not, but Lulu's not going to go look at that and go microphone, but yeah, she's going to see it as it is. So just try that for a moment. Like see something, the shape, the color, the texture, the lightness, and the darkness. And this tends to settle the nervous system because the less we take in of what's around us, the more the nervous system is like, well, what is it? What's, grandma's like, what's there? What's there? So literally tuning into seeing it actually as it is, so we have body, breath to feel, connect to immediate environment. And then the final one is that periodically, no matter what you're doing, because we have this mechanism, our mind is going to take us. It's going to grab us and like it's going to give us like something to grab onto, like some mental drama. They screwed me over, and why didn't I do? And I should have said, and we're gone. Yeah. And then there's a moment where you realize that you were gone, and then you say, I'm back. Mm-hmm. So as soon as your mind has just caught you, you say, I'm back. And then feel your body, take a breath, connect to your immediate environment. And just to be clear, there's no order of these. All 4 of them will pull you back because we want to stay in this moment. We don't want to go through our life missing enormous swaths of life because we're listening to how bad we are. These 4 access points open the creative channel.
Oh, beautiful.
And I remember my dad telling me that so many famous scientists would go for a walk, and like a lot of them would go for a walk in the morning, and then sometimes, he would tell me this story of a very famous scientist literally stepping on the bus and was just engaged in that moment, and this enormous theorem that he had been working on, like dropped in.
Wow.
We need to trust in that space. And I think it's very much in alignment with everything that you do and talk about. It's like, it's stepping into the unknown. And I'll tell you, when I'm about to shoot a scene in a movie and they're setting up the light, coming from the crap on my face, whatever. And right before, if I catch that I'm in my mind, I say to myself, I don't know what is going to happen. And that's okay. And because the more we can step into the unknown, which is we need to train our nervous system, to know that's okay. But that opens up just our creativity, and
What did you just say there? You can step into the unknown. What did you tell yourself in that moment?
I don't know what's going to happen. And I think, from childhood, from grammar school, it's ingrained in us. If the teacher, is Julie, what in 1607, what happened? What was the key thing? What happened in that year, Julie?
Yeah.
And it's the worst possible thing is, I don't know. It's just like, you'll get, the teacher will be disappointed. It's just horrendous, but so I think that's part of, I know for me, like how it got ingrained that like to not know was so bad, but it's a magical place of, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know the answer. And then you kind of enter into a magical kingdom, I think.
It's where the angel of mystery is, and there is an angel of mystery.
Absolutely, 100%. And look, the truth is, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in 5 minutes. Like that's the reality of where we're living, but our mind is, doesn't let us hang out with that because it's like it wants to create structure, security, and sameness. And it wants to keep us devoid of experience. It wants to keep us, but we've got to come back in and it's also not about, from my point of view, it's not about talking about, oh, I'm feeling, it's just like, they're just charges to riff with.
Yeah. Yeah. And let yourself run with things. Okay. I have to ask this question, and then I want you to share with everybody where they can find you, where they can find your book.
Okay.
But you have to have thought about this with your dad doing the work that he did and the people that he worked with. Will we find the God particle? Will will science bring us together more with the divine and all that is and spirituality? Do you think that merge, if it will happen in our lifetimes?
I mean, I had that discussion with him many times. That's an unknown right now, but I remember one thing he said was, there were a couple of things. Like one, he was like, he said, we know that we have 5 fingers, and we can trace through evolution how we got to 5 fingers, but we have no idea why it's 5 fingers. Do you know what I mean? And we can understand certain things, but then there's a whole other realm of, but we don't know. We don't know. We can understand certain things, but we don't know why they are quite that way. And that lit him up. That it was also like a sense of frustration because he'd want to know.
Yeah.
But it's, that's a fantastic question. And I don't have an answer to, but we'll certainly see.
Yeah.
I think just even pondering that is fun.
Josh, you are such a joy to spend time with.
Oh, so are you.
Where can everybody find your new book, Lose Your Mind, and where can they find you?
September 30th. It'll be everywhere. obviously Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all the book websites. Go to your local bookstore. They should have it. It should be everywhere that books are available. I have a website, committedimpulse.com.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Friends, I need your help reaching as many people as possible. If you'd like to support this podcast and help us spread more hope to the world, please book a session with me, join my angel membership, or take my angel Reiki school. What's the difference? If you'd like to know what messages your angels and loved ones have for you, you'll want to book a session with me. The angel membership is all about your own personal spiritual healing. The membership takes you on a spiritual journey that teaches you how to create your own heaven on earth. And the Angel Reiki School is for those who want to get certified in mediumship, angel messages, and energy healing all at once. These are 3 ways you can help us share a message of hope and love with more people than ever before. Register for one or all 3 at theangelmedium.com. That's theangelmedium.com. Now, let's pray together. As we do, I want you to pray in a way where you feel as though everything you want for yourself and the world has already come true, and you're giving thanks. Why? Because this is the best way to manifest. So let's begin. God, universe, source, thank you. We're so grateful that you've blessed this world with calm and peace for all. This calm and peace has spread like ripples, soothing the hearts of every soul. Thank you for opening our hearts to abundance, allowing each of us to live our most authentic life, and helping us to create our own heaven on earth. We thank you for the love and deep heart-to-heart connection that surrounds us every day in our relationships. We thank you for the abundance of health and aliveness we feel radiating from every cell in our and our families' bodies. Thank you for the gift of walking this life with us and guiding us every step of the way through your messages. We hear you through our own intuition, and we feel you walking right by our sides, and we overflow with gratitude. Thank you for financial abundance and abundance of opportunities, miracles, blessings, and prosperity in every way. We know that you want us to succeed so that we can show others how you want them to succeed too. Thank you for the boundless love, kindness, empathy, and compassion that binds us all together. Thank you for the laughter, fun, moments of pure delight that fill us every day, especially today. God, universe, source, thank you for blessing us beyond measure and allowing us to use our souls, gifts, talents, skills, and abilities to serve the world. We love you. I love you. And in this we pray. Amen. Friends, we're working on some pretty major things over here. And if you wouldn't mind saying a little prayer that these things come to fruition if they're God's will, we'd so appreciate it. And please add a little prayer in for any specific thing you need right now too. Have a beautiful, blessed day.